Welcome to the Shutter. First, I want to thank all of you that came to this channel and subscribed from suggestions of Cam from Dixie Cryptid. And if you happen to be subbed here and not Dixie Cryptid, you really need to check out that channel. He is one of the best storytellers you'll ever hear. The link for that will be in the description. I've got two Bigfoot stories for you today. Now, I won't be doing just Bigfoot stories on this channel, and I know a lot of you aren't interested in the other cryptids or ghost stories, but you'll be able to tell from the title if you even want to get into the story. And I'll be posting something every day during this quarantine. So, okay, get comfy and settle in. My name is Grant. I currently live in the Tampa, Florida area. When I was young, I had an encounter while I was driving home one night. I'm 35 now, but at the time I was 18 or 19. Until recently, I've been the subject of so much criticism concerning my family because one night I came home and told everyone I saw a gorilla. For years, at every family gathering, whether it was Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving, or whatever, it would come up, but I've never backed off when I saw. It was probably 10:30 or 11 one night, and I was driving home. I had taken one of the back roads into our housing development. At the time, I had my windows down and was just cruising. As I slowed down for a speed bump, probably slowing to about 15 miles per hour, this animal walks out from behind a preschool and just walks right into the road. This thing is right in front of me in my headlights. I could see the whole thing from head to toe. It looked just like a gorilla. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end. I watched this thing cross the road in front of me and walk to the right side of the house on the other side of the road. I floored it and got out of there. I went down to the end of the street, rolled my windows up, locked the doors, turned my brights on, and drove back to the same spot. It was gone. I was so freaked out, I could not believe what I just saw. I guess that's why I drove back. I know, not very smart. I can remember every detail from that moment, even though it only took about 7 or 8 seconds. While it was crossing the street, what I remember is that it did look at me, or at the car. It was walking on 2 feet. It was hunched over the way you would expect a gorilla to walk, and its arms hung down really close to the ground, but at no time did I see it walk on its hands. Its arms were swinging with the stride of its walk, just the way the humans would. As it walked, it briefly turned its head at me, and its eyes were glowing yellow, I'm assuming from the headlights. And then it turned its head back straight and just kept going. At no time did this thing speed up, slow down, make any changes to its direction. I didn't bother it at all. It really didn't seem concerned with me or my car. As far as physical description goes, it was probably a little over 6 feet tall, maybe a little more. I don't think it was more than 7 feet tall. The hair was darker brown with a red tint. The hair did cover its body, but it wasn't that thick, and I say that because my headlights did manage to shine through the hair, and I could make out some muscle definition. Its shoulders were jacked, really muscular, and I'll never forget that jaw. Bottom line, this thing wasn't as big as I've heard people describe, but it just looked evil. The yellow eye shine is burned into my memory. At the time, the area wasn't built up. The preschool I described earlier has been built up, and now a few new housing developments have been built. But back in the day, there wasn't much out there aside from woods and orange trees. Multiple orange tree fields have all now been plowed down. At the time, I never considered Bigfoot. I received so much crap from my family about this that I basically put it out of my memory. But I've never forgotten the event, and about a year ago, I discovered some Bigfoot channels, and it brought back so many memories and feelings. I know now that what I saw is what we refer to as the skunk ape. Great account. Thank you, Grant, for sending me that. This next story is from Keno Hill, Yukon Territory. This is the story told by Leonard Thomas, an Indian man from Canada. That's probably not politically correct, I know, but Native American doesn't work since he's Canadian. So maybe somebody can school me on the politically correct term, Native Canadian, I suppose. I don't know. I did edit this but I tried to keep it the way he wrote it as much as possible, just so you get the feel of how he thought and how he described what he saw and referred to as a boq. I'm not sure which summer it was, maybe 5 or 6 years back. The wife and I were returning from Keno Hill early one morning. Our coffee thermos was in the back of the truck, and it was my fault it was back there. She wanted coffee, so we stopped some miles before Elsa and got out to get the thermos and relieve myself on the side of the road. There was a stand of trees there. I wandered off a ways, walked way up there. Don't know just why I did that. It was there that I saw this bear sitting down at a carcass of elk, maybe deer. Don't know what it was for sure. There was not much left of it. I'm thinking it was black bear at first, sitting down beside the remains. But that be some unusual bear. Bears usually stand up to tear at their kill and eat it standing up. This bear sat there pulling at what was left. Way off in the distance, there was a fox pacing back and forth, awaiting its turn at the kill. Just then, my wife yelled at me to get myself back in the truck. The bear heard her and stood up on 2 legs, looking in my direction. I fell backwards a bit at its size. My God, I seen it was no bear. I believe it was a boq, and it had a piece of something from the carcass clutched in its hand. It stood there looking in my direction, and the fox took off in a dead run. The wife yelled again, and this boq started waving its arms up and down and stomping forward on 1 leg at me. Damn, I couldn't make these legs of mine move. I saw that it was black, and it was naked except for hair around the usual male parts, chest, arms, and it was unshaved looking. The beard was long and scraggly, with crud and stuff in the whiskers. It took a step in my direction, stomped its foot, and was waving its arms like a crazed man might if he was high on something. I fell back again and started crawling like a baby to the truck on my hands and knees. I finally was able to get up and run to the truck. I saw my wife looking big-eyed at me coming. Behind me, on the top of the area where the stand of trees was, be that boq, standing, watching us get into the truck. We started the engine up and drove off, leaving the thermos out in the middle of the road there. My woman is Tuchon, First Nation Canadian, and I am English and Mi'kmaq, though I was raised up and orphaned by whites named the Thomas clan in a settlement near Nova Scotia. We married 38 years ago, and her folk know the boq, but we don't see any in our lifetime until that day. I was never taught about boqs. My woman told me that her people know. It was a shock to both of us. The boq is a strange marvel. Yes, it is a strange sight. The wife says it is good to see one. I don't know how good. Having the crap scared out of me can be a great blessing, but she says so, and I listened. We don't speak about this much. The wife is still mad because I lost the thermos of coffee. I could have been killed, and she would still be mad about the thermos. We don't own a computer. My friend here at the petrol shop looked up and found your website listed, so we tell you about this incident. We are not sure on height. I was in shock when it stood up full size, and not thinking clearly, but I know it was maybe 8 feet up, and features fitting to its size. At the time, it could have been 10 feet tall for all I noted. I don't know what it weighed, I didn't stop to ask, but it was sturdy, stocky, and plenty of bulk. I weigh 240 and a mid-sized man. The boq must weigh double what I weigh. There was no sound except the stomping sound, no smell, was black and had whiskers and long straight hair like a woman down its back and shoulders, black and shiny. There was nothing else around but a pacing fox, nothing else I can think of. I was sure it was a black bear before it stood up and started waving its arms and stomping. My God, I get hair on my neck when I think about it. My wife said the boq is left over from a cast-out Indian tribe. Most were killed or run off. Not many left since white men came here, and what's left is scattered and shy. They tell me the boq is a skilled hunter, an opportunist that works mostly after the dark of nightfall. Thank you for taking my accounting, Leonard Jack Thomas. I just love this story. It's got everything, including humor. I know I probably butchered every name in there, but oh well. And the way he talked about his wife reminds me of the way my wife Linda does me sometimes. You know, and I just busted out when I read the part about the weight. And he said, I don't know, I didn't stick around to ask. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed those. If you did, give them a like and a share and leave a comment. Let me know what you'd like to hear. I really appreciate the support that so many have given. All right, hope to see you back here next time for The Shutter.